Hi everyone, in today's tutorial we're creating a retro modern poster worthy illustration of a person lighting a match, complete with bold shapes, rich textures and a striking flame. This tutorial is perfect for beginners as we'll break everything down step by step. However, advanced illustrators can learn new techniques that will take their artwork to the next level. To make it even easier, I've included a free sketch and colour palette for you to download in the description. In the description, I will also list the brushes I'm using, but feel free to use whatever you have. Alright, let's get started. These are the dimensions and colour profile that I am using. I have the sketch group in here. So what I'll quickly do is, just for each group, I'm going to select the N and take it to multiply and take it down to about 50-60%. That is fine. And I'm going to do the same for each of these layers. Close this group. I'll create two new layers. I'll select both. I'm going to group this and rename. I'm going to call this one Flame. Select the bottom layer. So before we do that, let's just grab the sketch group and pop it on top like so. I'm going to select the bottom layer here. And for this job, I'm going to use the raw pen at around 15%. The color that I will use will be, let's go to our palette for the flame, and I'm going to use this yellow first. And I'm just going to create an outline of the flame and then fill it in with color. And I'm going to do the same for the three layers. And then just fill that in with color. Select this layer here, just change the color to this orange here. And fill that in with color. Let's create a new layer here. I'll select this red here and do the same for this. Let's fill that in with color. Now before we continue, I just wanted to turn the sketch off, and I just wanted to zoom in on this just so you can see the effect that this pen gives. It kind of gives us an imperfect edge, which just all adds to the final charm of the illustration. And what I might do is, while I'm on this layer, I might just take it down a tad in size and just sharpen the end bit here like so. And I might go back to the orange layer, select the orange color and do the same here. Now next I'm going to go to the background layer here and select this color second from the left for the background color. And let's close this group. I'm going to create a couple more layers, three in fact, 1, 2, 3. Select all, group, rename. I'm going to call this hand/match. Select the bottom layer. We're going to continue using the raw pen at around size 15. The color that we'll use is this pink. And let's just go back to the sketch layers. I might just turn most of them off apart from the hand layer. And what we're going to do is we're just going to draw the fingers in and then fill them in with color. So fill that in with color. And now I'm going to select this layer here. We can momentarily turn this layer off, and let's just do the same for this finger here and fill that in with color. Now we can go to this layer here, and we're going to keep the brush but choose this color on the left. And what I might do is just turn this layer off, and I'm just going to draw the match in. And fill that in with color. I'm just going to create a new layer here and select this color second from the right. I'm just going to finish the match off. Let's just turn these layers back on. Okay, we can close this for now. Just wanted to show you our illustration. So this basically is the foundation of our illustration. It's been pretty simple and fast to put this together, just a few basic shapes and colors. And here comes the fun part, where we transform these basic elements into a poster-worthy illustration just by adding a little bit of texture, a few lines here and there, and a couple of details. We'll start off by using the Magic Rugged texture at around 52-53% is fine. Let's just go back to our layers, select this one. We're going to create a couple of layers, select them, group, rename. I'll call this other elements, and select the bottom layer. Now for this job, we're going to go to the disk and select a pure white. And I'll teach you a little trick. So in order to select a pure white, just double click somewhere around here. And there we go, we have a pure white. So we're just going to make this a little bit smaller, and we're going to add this really cool border to the illustration. Just make sure this is at 100%, and I'm just going to draw it in here like that. So I'm going to start off with a point and draw a rough straight line, but when you get to the end, don't release your pencil, because you can decide where the end point will be. Yeah, so I might do it around here, and I might just sort of go over slightly and fill it in around the edge a little. And I'm going to do the same to all sides. But before I do, I might just have to just grab this group and pop it on top here, and just make sure we're on that layer here, and let's continue. And there we have it. We have this really cool, gorgeous border. You can fill in a little bits here and there if you want, but I like to leave some of it showing through. It gives a really nice effect. Now let's select the Gritty Crayon at around 10%. I'm going to use this color here, second from the left. Let's just go to the sketch and turn on this hand sketch. And I'm just going to put the fingernail in like so. Now we are going to add this shadow to the finger here, but before we do, I've just accidentally added the fingernail to this group, but that's an easy fix for it, so I'll just show you a little trick. I'm just going to make sure you're on this layer. So this is where I accidentally placed the fingernail. Make sure you're on that layer if you have placed it there. I'm just going to select that tool and make sure you've got freehand selected, and I'm just going to select the fingernail like so, and now I'm going to use my 3 fingers to go like that, and I'm basically going to cut it and paste it. So I'm going to select this will cut that area and paste it on another layer. So I've done that, and we can go into the layers to have a look, and yes, there you see the fingernail on a separate layer now. And I'm just going to grab this and pop it in here in this group. Now let's add that shading to that finger. So I'm just going to select this layer here. I'm going to create a new layer on top, and I will click on that and select clipping mask. Now I'll just explain quickly how a clipping mask works for those of you who don't know. So basically, whatever we place on this layer here, on layer 20, will be contained to the shape, that finger shape on layer 11. And I will be using the abrasive shader for this at size 16%. So let's go in and add a little bit of a shadow here, a textured shadow. And I'm just going to go to the N and select multiply on that one. And you can play around with the opacity slider until you have the desired result that you like. Might leave mine at about 60%. Next, I'm going to select the dehydrated brush at 7%. We'll keep the color. I'll select the match layer here, create a new layer on top, click, select clipping mask. And I'm just going to add a bit of this texture to the match here. Now I'm going to add some texture to the flame here. So let's select the magic rugged texture. At around 19% will do. Let's close these groups. Let's go back to the flame group. I'm going to select this layer here, create a new layer on top, clipping mask, and I'm just going to add this gorgeous texture to the flame here. And next I'm going to select this layer here, create a new layer on top, clipping mask. For this job I'm going to use the subtle texture brush, and you can take it up in size a little bit, and I'll just do that, add a little bit of the texture. I'm going to go to the N here and go to divide. Next I'll select the yellow one here, new layer, clipping mask. I'll be using the same brush and adding this texture to the flame here. For the next job I'm going to use the Mighty Pencil at around size 22%. The color that I'll be using is this color here, the lightest color. I will go to the sketch and just turn on my strokes layer, and let's go back to the flame group, select the top layer, create a new layer on top. I'm just going to put some of these strokes in. And now I'm going to create a new layer on top. I'll keep the same brush, select this orange color here. I'll turn this layer strokes 1 off, turn strokes 2 on, and I'll add some strokes. Next I'm going to be using the blotch tool at around 5%. The color is the yellow here. I'll create a new layer on top here. I'm just going to add this kind of really cool texture. Next, I'm going to use the mighty pencil at around 40%. I'm going to use the lightest color here. Let's close these groups. And before I do, I'm just going to turn on the sketch layer for text. I'll create 2 new layers, select both group, rename text, select bottom layer, and I'm just going to add a little bit of text here. Actually, I might take it down in size a tad, try it 33%. And then take it down even further. Might try it at 14 and do the rest of the text. Maybe up a little bit, 16. And I'll just select this top layer here and I'll create a little bit of a border for this text. Now at this stage we're almost finished. We are just going to add a few final touches, just some texture around the background and so forth. So we'll start off with the distressed brush at around 6%. Keep the lightest color here. I'm just going to add, before we do that, we should select a layer. So let's go to I'll go to other elements here and select that layer here. And I'm just going to add a little bit of this really gorgeous texture around these words here. I'll just zoom up so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm just going to increase the size a little to 9% and just add some around the corners, maybe a little around the sides. And next I'm going to use the analog shader at around size 12 or 13 is fine. The color that I'll choose is this darkest color here, and I might just grab this border and pop it on top here, select this layer here, create a new layer on top, and I'm just going to add some shading and this gorgeous texture. We're going to have to change the order of some of these layers, so we have the finger on top. So what I might do is I might just close this group, pop it underneath here. We will have to take this border out because that has to be at the very top, but that's fine. We will just pop that on top here. And now we can select this group, and now we've got the hand on top. And we might just also increase the size now. Try it at around 30 or 32% is fine. I'm just going to also add some of this texture to the corners and the sides as well. And the other thing that I might do is I might just make sure you've got this layer selected, and I might just pop this one on top so we can see some of that more subtle, lighter texture coming through. And that's it. We've created a beautiful textured illustration with simple shapes and bold colors, bringing the flame to life with just a few details. That's all it takes, really. I hope you had fun with this one. So let's just have a quick look at the illustration like I usually do. So when we zoom in, like with most of the illustrations that I do, texture plays a really big role in making the illustrations what they are. So when we zoom in, we've got this gorgeous texture here in the flame, beautiful texture throughout the background. The border has this gorgeous texture. We see this beautiful texture in the flame. And then we have a look down here, we've got all this gorgeous texture. Even in the line work, if I zoom in, for example, on the fingernail, we've got this beautiful texture there. And the text here, we've applied some line work that is nicely textured. So thank you for being on this journey with me. If you enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to like, subscribe, and also hit the bell so you don't miss the next one. I'd love to see your artwork, so tag me if you share it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.